I might stand just so everybody can see me. And that sent my life into a completely different trajectory. So part of what we're gonna be talking about is not where something is that you can't find it. It's where do we go in order to find the answers to life that we need. And I'm just gonna kind of tap us into where the answers already are. But we may not always go there to look.
Okay.
So when she fell, anybody have an experience like this? Like the most difficult thing I had to do on February 9th, 2018, like we were planning a trip to take my daughter to Legoland.
Oh, yeah.
And I was stressing out over this trip. I was like, okay, we gotta have clothes for 3 days, and she's gonna wanna go to the water park, and we're just, and we gotta leave on time, and we have to go to work that day. And I'm just going through all these challenges, right, at the time. All these challenges. We gotta pack, and I gotta drive for 2 hours, and that's where my head was at. Until about 9 o'clock in the morning, where I got this phone call from my dad that told me my mother's in the hospital. And I was trying to go through a litany of things and I was just running the road like, did she have a stroke? Like, what? I mean, my mother's never been, she's been in the hospital probably twice in 80 years, right? So I'm trying to go down my mind, stroke, did she know what happened? And so my husband and I, we live about an hour from my family. We dropped my daughter off at school. This is gonna be in a book one day, but we dropped my daughter off to school, and we're on our way to the hospital. And you're speculating. Like, what's going on? So we get to the hospital and walk into the emergency. It's a satellite hospital. Not a major facility. She would end up there. And she's alert, and we're talking, and I'm still trying to feel like, what happened? She's trying to explain to me what happened. I was dreaming, and I think I fell, and like, what was up? And that just set in motion the next 18 months of my life. Because she had been there, we still don't know how long, but she was able to have sensory. That's those of you in medical field, sorry about this, medicine for dummies. But neurologically, your body moves because of a particular reason. But if you touch someone, that's sensory. So she was able to feel touch, but she had no neurological movement. So if she was trying to tell herself to move, she couldn't move. And all this is going on, and one of the nurses, this is in between trying to discharge her, and one of the nurses came and talked to me, and people started coming to talk to me just sporadically. I will never tell you all the conversations I had with medical personnel that day. One set was telling me what was going on with my dad, another set was telling me what was going on with my mother. And she said, when I saw your mom, it reminded me of something that happened with my daughter's husband. And I told the doctor, you need to get this woman an MRI. And in medicine, decisions go top down, not bottom up. She's like, but you need to get this woman an MRI. And that translated into her getting an MRI. And when they took the MRI, they realized that her neck was broken. And that it was starting to bleed, and that whatever you call that, was starting now to put pressure. That's what was collapsing the neurological part, right? So then it went from kind of a casual, she fell, to this red light, time-limited procedure that if you don't relieve this pressure in a certain amount of time, then this paralysis is gonna be permanent. So we went from one extreme to the other, like guns a-blazing. We had, everything was being called to the big hospital. They were hurt. She's gonna be red lighted in an ambulance all the way to the hospital. And that started this journey